Hey guys, how's it going? Let's talk about Netflix's Red Notice. Red Notice is a 2021 film starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot. Of course, this is not a review. This is a British fan's retrospective thoughts and opinions on this film. I'll try to keep it as spoiler-free as I can. The main plot is about three golden eggs that are covered in jewels that were gifted to Cleopatra in the ancient times. Two have been located and they are on the earth and they are stealable, but one is missing and they have to, of course, have a series of events to find the third one. This film has received some negative reviews online and it is, of course, on Netflix. However, I feel that this film is a film that has no business being on Netflix, even with the situation worldwide over the last year or so. Even if that was the reason, which it hasn't been confirmed that that is the reason, but this film was acquired by Netflix. Originally, it was developed by Universal Pictures. Now, this film cost nearly $200 million in production. In fact, it did cost $200 million all in all. And it's not even been released at the box office, basically, and that's where they make the majority of the money from. So Netflix must have paid a pretty penny for this film, in my opinion, or it must be something that you have to consider. And with saying that, like I said, this film has no business being on Netflix. It's way higher quality than the majority of films that would be on Netflix. You can clearly see where this film would have been able to have at least survived to a point whereas it looks like it's going to lose 98% at this point of its box office budget. It probably could have at least made back 75%, if not reached its actual limit and made its budget back with some profit on top. So they must have made a pretty penny from Netflix no matter what. This film has star power with obviously The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, Gal Gadot. She is arguably one of the top female actors out there. And Ryan Reynolds speaks for himself. These are major, major actors who have been right up there in Hollywood over the last few years. Gal Gadot and Dwayne Johnson are both part of the DC universe, and Ryan Reynolds is part of in fact, he's part of the DC and Marvel universe, if you technically look at it, with the Green Lantern, even though obviously he probably won't reprise that role, you'd think not. But this film, like I said, has a lot of star power. It's set around a plot of basically thieves and double cross situations where you don't know who is on whose side. And I am literally going to tell you guys off the bat, the headline of this film should be a line stolen from the amazing wrestling commentator Bobby Heenan, Bobby the Brain Heenan. And that line is, well, whose side is he on anyway? Because you never know in this film whose side anyone is on. It will leave you at points potentially scratching your head. But in the end, they do manage to actually make certain things make sense with all the swerving and etc. This features things that appeal to me. As somebody who's from Britain, I obviously have a link to certain types of people in the history of war and etc. I'm not going to mention who them people are. They are a version of German people, let's just say. I also, as a British person, have a link to some people in South America who had something to do with the British colony of the Falklands Island. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. And this film features something that I am really interested in, which is treasure and hidden buried artifacts from the past, things that link to ancient times, ancient artifacts, etc., etc. And if you know the story of some of these, let's say, German people from the end of the war, there are rumors in real life that some of these ancient artifacts and this stolen treasure was hidden on the continent of Antarctica and potentially in South America. And there are links between these German people and some people in South America, and they always have been. So, you know, it explains a lot of the hatred from my people in Great Britain towards these people, even to this very day. But yeah, it caught my eye immediately when I seen the plot to the film, and I realized, where's all this negativity coming from? Surely this film has got to be completely unwatchable, which is absolutely not true. This film is definitely worth watching. It's not a film that I would say is an amazing film. I tell you not, though. This film will be one of them films. I guarantee you that in 10 years' time, when it is absolutely been ran through the mill on rerun film channels and television channels that run films, I promise you this will be one of the most underrated films. Maybe I'm just watching the wrong people talking about this film, etc. But I personally myself really enjoyed what I seen. I mean, it's on certain places it's got a rating of quite high of like 7.5, which is not actually a bad rating overall. But other places it's got a really low rating. Maybe it's just because a lot of people haven't seen the film yet, if you know what I mean. So maybe there's only a certain amount of people that have voted for it. It is on Netflix, guys, and I'm saying it now. Most people have a subscription to Netflix. This is, for me, apart from the films that Netflix have acquired, that have actually been acquired from the past that were box office films, I'd say that this film would give any film that's been released as a first run film on Netflix, for quality and for plotline and for entertainment purposes, this film would definitely give any film on Netflix a run for its money. This is one of the best films that I've seen from Netflix. I will say that the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool character gets very old in this. Like, maybe that's the reason why Ryan Reynolds was seen as such a poor portrayal of the Green Lantern. Maybe it's because they did basically forcibly dull him down. Because any other time that you've ever seen Ryan Reynolds in any other film, it always features him playing this clown, doesn't know when to shut up character. And trust me, guys, in this film, they turn up the Ryan Reynolds shtick to the highest level. And it, to some people, could be overwhelming and just annoying. And I can understand if Ryan Reynolds is a factor as into why some people do not like this film. I personally didn't have a problem with Ryan Reynolds in this film. There are other characters in this film that are featured in this film, but what you need to know is that Gal Gadot is an absolutely, not that you wouldn't know this, but Gal Gadot is an absolutely beautiful woman. My word, is she something special. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. Spoiler alert. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, you are one lucky human being. You've obviously been in the same films as Gal Gadot before, but the fact that you got to actually even physically touch her, I hope that you weren't having to do any of the scenes that you did with her with a stunt double. Oh my word, she is so beautiful. But yeah, they play their roles fine. There is some eye-opening moments, and there are some really entertainment moments in this film. I am actually going to give this film an 8 out of 10. Some would say that that's a little bit high, and it may be, but I am looking forward to seeing the next film in this series, and I really think the film and its series is going to grow on people in the future. The final thing that I'll say is, spoiler alert, there was an appearance from Ed Sheeran in this film. Please like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more.